You're looking there at eastern lowland gorillas, also known as Grauer's gorillas. This is in the Democratic Republic of Congo. They're the largest of all the gorilla subspecies, and they are critically endangered, according to the World Wildlife Fund. Groups like the Dian Fossey Gorilla Fund are partnering with families in the Congo to protect the gorillas and their habitats. Thomas Nybo is a freelance photographer and filmmaker. He joins me now from Decatur, Alabama. He's worked in more than 100 countries for UNICEF, the New York Times, PBS Frontline, and yes, CNN. Good to see you, Thomas. This latest trip of yours, first off, give us a sense of the status of these endangered gorillas. The numbers getting better or worse. What is the overall situation?
The gorillas I focused on were called Grauer's gorillas. They used to be known as eastern lowland gorillas. And there are only about right now 3,500 of these gorillas, which might sound like a big number, but what's troubling is over the past 20 years, 80% of their population has been decimated. So what Dian Fossey Gorilla Fund is doing is trying to protect these gorillas, most of whom live outside of a national park. A lot of people are familiar with the gorillas in Rwanda, the mountain gorillas, and they're protected. These gorillas that I was with are not protected and are susceptible to poachers, to locals who might have snares in the jungle or the forests. So their focus is to really win people over, and one of the ways they do that is hire them as trackers, hire them as porters, hire them to lead the teams through and expand their territory instead of shrinking their territory.
Like a lot of people who've never done it, I have to ask you what it's like to sort of look into the eyes of a 200-kilogram gorilla for the first time.
You know, Michael, when you're a kid, you have these ideas about how something would be. This would be so cool to be face to face with a 200-kilogram gorilla. And this is one of those rare situations where reality exceeds your expectations. I was with a group of trackers who've been doing this for 15 years. And when you're there, 10 yards away from a 200-kilo alpha male gorilla, and he's just staring at you and he could snap your neck like a pencil, but he's just hanging out, it's unforgettable. And one of the great experiences of my life.
I can't imagine. I mean, you touched on the trackers. Given the circumstances, how difficult is their work? I mean, they're in the Congo jungle for weeks at a time, right?
I like to think of myself as a pretty hardy person, a pretty tough person, and these guys just destroyed me. I mean, they spend weeks, sometimes months out there. We spent about 5 days there carrying 20-kilo packs, going through rivers. It rains all night, so you're constantly going through the mud. You have to set up your camp. You have to get your water from the river and boil it. You need to deal with angry hornets. You have to deal with bugs, bad weather. And these guys, I spent a little time in Nepal and in the Himalayas, and these guys are kind of like high-trained, high-altitude Sherpas. I mean, they're so used to it. And they carry twice as much weight as me and are twice as fast. They get to camp, they can build tables, they can build beds in nothing flat, and they can find these gorillas, and they daily follow these gorillas. Part of the gorilla pack is not habituated to humans, so they're a day behind, and so they need to pay attention. They're kind of like detectives. Oh, here's a bed in the grass, here's a bed in the tree, here's half-eaten fruit, here's some of their scat, just so they can keep an eye on the gorillas but stay at a safe distance.
Wow, I can't imagine. How to be humbled, I guess, is to go trekking with those guys. I mean, just to wrap up, I mean, what was your sense after the trip? Do you detect more or less confidence for the future of these, incredible creatures?
In this particular area, it's called in Cuba, in kind of eastern Congo, I feel good because what Dian Fossey has done is interact with the locals and win them over. They provide jobs. They provide gardens for the mothers to tend to. They provide better health care for the community, better education for the community. And I think that's the key in a situation like this, is to truly be a partner with the local population. It's easy to lecture. It's hard to engage over time, over a year, over 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. So in the long term, with this particular group, I feel confident.
Well, that's some good news. Good to see you, Thomas. Great work, incredible images. Thomas Nybo there, thank you.
Thank you, Michael.